This is not a lab. This is a monographic course. So the point is not really to come out with the perfect concept or a perfect product service system and so on. The main aim is, well, there are two. One is to understand how to integrate and use some sustainability design-oriented toolkit up to a system level into a design process, okay? It is known that when we are doing a work group, so discussing with others, and you are now student, future designer, or already designer, this is really fruitful even to understand some key topics that we have learned during the frontal lecture, okay? So while doing this, indeed, even some key learning will be understood much better, okay? Because in group, but even because in a design process, okay? Because even so that they are not that much abstract, but are actually embedded in a real practice or in a pretended real practice. You know that the design brief is you're going to design a sustainable eating for the Bovisa campus here, using the promising model of sustainable product service system and distributed economy. This that we have learned, and that while designing you will learn even much better, right? Which is the method and the phases and the tool and the processes that you will be doing during this design exercise. Obviously, not from the strategic analysis till the engineering of a product service system. This is not. We will go till well, the method is the MSDS methodology, of course. You remember there were some phases: strategic analysis, exploring opportunities, system concept design, system detailed design or engineering, and then communication, okay? Some of the processes has been already made by us, and that was actually presented the other time by Lorenzo. It was an abridged strategic analysis, even that it was not a long strategic analysis, okay? It was a simplified, but anyhow enough for our working purposes. So indeed, you remember there were two lectures. One was on eating in the Bovisa campus for those persons that are not from Milano, from the School of Design, so that was even for them to be aware about that. The second one was a synthetic understanding of the main sustainability related to the food system, and specifically to the European and Italian situation, okay? And some highlight even in relation to the university context and so on, or the working context and so on. These are there still. You can find them on the Lens platform, either as a video or as a PowerPoint, so you can look at them if you want to go back and see this part. So you, that is you. What are you going to do? In the exploring opportunity, okay, there is the idea generation oriented to sustainability, and then we will go to system concept design with the clustering of idea and some evaluation of the concept that you have developed in sustainability terms. And then you will work on, you will make an animatic, so a simplified visualization of the concept that would be used internally within the company or the consortium of organizations that are working or co-designing the system, or even externally. But let's go through the different phases so that you know what you will be doing during this 8th lecture. The first thing that you are going to do is to use the sustainability design orienting scenario applied to SPSS NDA. Okay, this was something that we developed during the course of AU Fire project, the last one that I told you. Then you will be using the sustainability design orienting toolkit in the analysis of the existing system and priority. Indeed, you will find something that you will find something already done here. Okay, this you could be doing, but we did it for you, as I said. Okay, so you will find a brief analysis related to the 6 strategies. You remember that with the SDO toolkit, we analyzed the existing system, the food in the Bovisa campus, not in relation to the life cycle phases or to other things and so on, but in relation to the system design strategies. Okay, because this helps us to understand then the priority that one strategy may have, and so by understanding this may orientate our design efforts in generating idea, in selecting idea, and finding then at the end the best solution. Okay, but you will find this, so you will go through reading this, but by reading you can see at the same time how this could be made by you in a next occasion in which you could be the one that could do this by looking at the checklist and other things. Then you will be using the sustainability design orienting toolkit, and there in the so-called orientate concept section, so where you generate idea through idea boards. There are 6 idea boards related to the environmental dimension, 6 to the socio-ethical dimension, and then you remember we have developed even some related to sustainable product service system applied to distributed economy. Okay, so basically you will read and you will go through the guidelines. You can go to some examples that are linked to those to be inspired. There are some cards, something that was already presented during the lecture, but you may find other examples that were not presented and so on, if this could be inspiring for you. Okay, and then indeed you will brainstorm. You are in group, you'll be working, and finally you will generate idea. And here is a key point. Okay, so the idea should be up to a system level, so in terms of innovative interaction among stakeholders, so not product innovation, not service innovation, innovation in terms of new interaction among stakeholders. The same will be made with the sustainable socio-ethical dimension. So you will read the analysis that has been made. The analysis has been made on 3 criteria, not all of the 6, to make it, in this case, if not, it would have been too long. Okay, even because after that you will be working on generating not on all of the 6 criteria. If you wish, you can do that. If you find time, that's fine, no problem. But this is not requested. You will brainstorm on the 3. Again, there are some guidelines that may support the generation of your idea, as well as you can click and you can go to example and cards that may inspire you in generating idea, and then finally you brainstorm. You will brainstorm. And here is very important to say that and that's why we call and we set this into the exploring opportunity phase. As I told you even the other time while presenting the MS methodology, that we don't get in love immediately with one idea, but before doing that, we just try to open our mind, and we force a little bit to open our mind, okay? We are designers, we love idea that we get at the beginning. That's great to be in love with something, but let's open so that maybe we can be even more in love. And so in this case, you will be taken to say, okay, tell me all the system idea to system life optimization of resource reduction or equity in relation to stakeholder or whatever. So you will be taken to, before going, narrowing down to one concept, system concept, open. So that will be a divergent moment. Okay, so any idea will be accepted, and more idea will come out better it is, even though they will be not coherent one with each other. This is not the point at this up to this stage. Again, idea should be up to a stakeholder innovation level. You will work after that in understanding how the idea that has emerged or rather could be framed into a distributed economy paradigm, okay? So you will be using the 6 idea board of related to the 6 strategies that were presented with the example and with the guidelines and so on to generate again new idea. You have example to be inspired, and the example are some of those that has been presented, or I don't know if you had a chance in this case to look even at the lecture of Luca Macri that was not able to make a presentation, Beryl made in on his behalf, but he was studying more this part, and so that was that video could have been interesting, but nevertheless, here you have the example, so use the tool and that's fine anyhow. And then you generate idea, okay? So you will have quite a bunch of idea. Again, the idea should be up to an interaction at stakeholder level. Then we go to concept design phases, okay? A bunch of idea, let's try to understand what our concept could be. So you will be using the innovation diagram, another tool that we presented the other time. And what you will be doing, you will be selecting the most promising idea, environmentally sustainable, socio-ethically sustainable, and sustainable when they are in a combination of SPSS and DA, okay? Again, you will select, you will position those into a polarity diagram, okay? We will see this better in next lecture, because you are not going to do this today. And then maybe you can generate even some new idea. But that will be a moment in which you will select, okay, these are coherent with each other, seems to be the most promising and the most interesting, the most exciting, whatever it is, okay? Or the combination of all of those that would be the best. And as I said to you, you will be, if you remember something, profiling this starting concept, this draft concept, okay? To understand whether it's really oriented to SPSS, what kind of configuration it is it really decentralized, distributed, or whatever it is, what kind of product, and what about the ownership. So you will start to understand something, okay, to profile that. And then as a synthesis, you will use another tool. It's a very simple tool, simply to describe your concept. But it leads you to describe the concept in a way that you understand again whether your concept is going into the direction of an SPSS applied to DA, okay? So which is, as we have understood, a win-win sustainability and resilient opportunity, okay? So describing the satisfaction unit, and then profiling it, and so on. This is a simple text that you have to write there inside. When this is made, so we have this draft, when you will have as a group this draft concept, you start to develop the real concept. So using other tools, the first will be the stakeholder system map. This is a system map that, as we said, we develop with some characteristics that are linked to SPSS. So, for example, highlighting the ownership, highlighting the fact whether it's decentralized or distributed, and so on. Okay? So you will describe both the stakeholder and the interaction flow, whether they are financial flow, labor flow, material flow, and so on. Okay. Then you will be using, when this is done, so you have, let's say, the configuration of the actor, the main configuration. You will go a little bit more in detail of what is the role of each actor. And here there are, Blueprint is the most used tool for service design, and could be used. We will be using another one, so you learned how to use even this other one. We developed within the Lens. It's called interaction table, and so for which it's an Excel based file, so that actually you can expand this. A lot depends on the level of detail that you will go through. So you will describe for each actor in the course of the time the action, so what they are doing in relation to each other, and you will highlight even the product and the services that will be then in a certain moment and time frame will be needed, and so on, and highlighting as well the ownership of those. When this is made, we will you will be making even an interaction storyboard. Maybe you did storyboard. We have a format for, well, a couple of formats for doing those. We will present you one that you will use. So you may learn to use this. The point is that you will be using some of the images that have been used in the interaction table, and you can drag and drop, and you can use them into the storyboard. Interaction table is a complex tool. It's more complex because it could be a wide tool into which you see different line of actors. This could be good in a strategic conversation with different stakeholders. But if you want to present very shortly, you know, like in a more narrative way, how your concept it is. If you present an interaction table, the people may get crazy, they don't understand. So it may be too complex, okay? So there will be just on one row with a narrative, but indeed selecting and putting on one row the most interesting action that you have on the stakeholder interaction table. While doing this, you may understand that something could be different, so either there could be a cross influence with the interaction table that you are developing, and so on. But we will see all this, okay? So you will describe, and each actor is identified by a given color. This helps to achieve the strategic conversation if you are co-designing with the other stakeholders, so one recognize if it's an organization or a company. It's easier that the stakeholder involved in a workshop or in a discussion to improve the concept or to detail the concept, may better recognize what is her or his position into the system, and whether the role that is proposes fine, or a new role could be interesting and feasible, and so on. And of course, there is a legenda, but we will learn how to use that. Then you will be used as a satisfaction offering diagram. This is not, it's a visualization tool. You remember maybe something, is a kind of an advertise. So in one shot, in one image, I should be able to present my proposal, okay? And since some of those proposals are kind of radical in a way, the non-ownership or something that could be different from what we are used, we should be able, through both visual imagination and good slogan, good things, you know, to have a good introduction. Usually, while presenting a concept, as you will be doing, the offering diagram could be the first image that you present, okay? And then you go, okay, so that when one is listening, start to understand something, then go to the detail and get better what is the concept, okay? And this may have different level of details, and you will be using and defining this in different level of details along the course of your project. So at the beginning would be without the subwoofer, for example. So without this, maybe more general, and then you may detail this a little bit more and so on. Okay, when this is made, so you have a concept at this stage, all right? It's good to make a check of the concept. Is really the concept we develop environmentally and socio-ethically sustainable? Hopefully yes, but up to which level? And it's really sustainable in environmental terms in relation to one of the criteria that has the highest priority, or for that we didn't do that much, so that maybe we have to go back and to rethink and to redesign something about it. So it's good to make a check about that, okay? And this is made through the Sustainability Design Oriented Toolkit in the section Check the Concept, where actually you will find the checklist that you have not been using during the strategic analysis, because we did it, but then at that stage you will find, and you will describe here whether your concept and up to with which characteristic has improved, or maybe you discover that by improving the concept in relation to system life optimization, something bad happened in relation to resource reduction and something. So highlight this. This is not a problem. It's just made up to this purpose. Okay. So you will be doing this for each of the criteria or strategy. And then you will be able to, for each of those, to define whether you have no improvement because you realize that you didn't do anything to improve your concept in relation to the existing system, or there is an incremental improvement because you did something, but it's not really radically changing the situation, or you made a radical improvement because indeed it's quite an innovative solution that you have been proposing. Okay, so you will be selecting this. And you know, this is a qualitative evaluation. I told you in a lecture on the short lecture on product lifecycle design that we can use even lifecycle assessment, which is a tool that makes a quantitative assessment. Yesterday with a student, we were with the other course, we were here 4 hours. They started to make lifecycle assessment, and so this could be made, and we will continue this next Monday. This is not the case in this. It could be made up to a system level. It's complex because you may have more than one product, so it's not always that easy. But indeed, if this is feasible, why not? That could be used. Nevertheless, up to a concept level, to use qualitative system is fair enough. Okay. Not to do is bad, because maybe you are really missing something. and just thinking that, oh yes, I know everything, and maybe not following that. Maybe there are some checklists that help you to understand whether you have. So what is the problem that I have to face? Did I solve this problem? Because maybe you don't have there ready in your mind all of the issue that maybe linked to a given strategies and so on. So it's that would be when this is made again in the SDO toolkit, it will be automatically visualized in the radar diagram with the 6 criteria where you have highlighted for each of the criteria the priority and the improvement. For example, there we have H stands for high priority, radical improvement. Great. So that's a good thing. Would be, I don't know if I have another example. Would not be that good if for okay, medium priority I don't have any improvement, so maybe it would be good to go back and to rethink that something could be improved. Okay, and this is a synthetic way, and it could be used even as a visual tool to be presented internally to the company, if you're a designer internal to the company, or if you are designing for a company, or a stakeholder, because it could be that up to a system level, you may be co-designing with more than one. So in one shot, you can make a synthesis of how your concept is, what is the profile of your concept. So where are you improving and why? So you can even write some short text to describe the level of improvement. The same you will be doing for the socio-ethical dimension, even though here you will be doing this for the 3 dimension of sustainability. Okay? When this is made, or we will see, maybe it could be even a little bit earlier, but we will ask you to sketch, to draw some what we call touch point or evidences. Could be a draft concept of a product or an interface of an app or something like this, okay? Or could be an environment. You don't need to go into the detail. This is not the purpose. How to design a product is another course. This is, but just to give an idea of what your concept, system concept it is, okay? So it's we will have you will be doing even this. Right, when this is made, the last thing that you will be asked to do is this animatic, is an animation of static images, in which you will be using some of the tools that indeed, since they are even visualization tool, because they are, as I said to you many times, even used for a strategic conversation with different stakeholders that may have different technical languages. So even visualization help the conversation among different stakeholders. Well, the same could be used to make a quick and dirty, so a fast narration of your concept. So it will be an animation of static images with the narration voice. Short, 3-4 minutes, something like this. And at the end of the course, it will be our pleasure if you allow to put it even on the Lens platform, so that someone may look up to the work that has been made over here, okay? Without thinking that this will be a perfect concept, but anyhow, to show how what you came out with. Okay.